Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story comes from a subscriber named Rick, who's been living in Thailand for 3 years. Rick shares his own experiences with scams he's encountered in the kingdom, including a clever bus driver scheme and a classic pickpocketing incident. He encourages viewers to learn from his mistakes and share their own scam stories to help others stay safe while traveling. Let's hear what Rick has to say. I've been scammed other than by women a couple of times in Thailand. The first time occurred when I was returning from my first trip to Cambodia. I had taken the boat from Sihanoukville to Koh Kong and was walking across the border checkpoint. As I filled in my 2-part immigration card for Thailand, I was being watched by a very young boy, about 7 years of age. As I completed the card, he even verbally confirmed what I'd written, that I lived in Pattaya. I had no trouble with the immigration folks, and of course no smile either, and took a shuttle van to the Trat bus station. As far as I knew of the bus schedules, I'd be stuck for the night in Trat and would take a bus the next day to Pattaya. Having no interest in spending the night in Trot, imagine my delight when the shuttle van arrived at the Trot bus station, and immediately a BART bus, Song TW, pulled up next to our van and announced that he was going to Pattaya. The price was a bit high, 2,000 baht, but a reasonable price to sleep in my own bed that night. I accepted his offer and was the only passenger in his vehicle. We drove at high speed as the sun set, and I relaxed in the back of the BART bus. About 20 minutes before arriving in Chantaburi, he invited me to sit inside with him, and I accepted his offer. A little while later, he asked if I could help with gas money along the way, and I asked him to stop at a K-Bank ATM machine. I withdrew 2,000 baht from the ATM and handed him one of the 1,000 baht notes. A few minutes later, he handed me back a 100 baht note, and I asked him what this was for. He replied that I'd only given him 100 baht and that he needed more for fuel. Not having eaten much all day and being very fatigued, I tried to assess this situation. I knew that I wasn't at my best in such conditions and wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Shortly thereafter, he got on his mobile phone and chatted away for a few minutes, and I couldn't understand what he said. When we pulled into the gas station, another BART bus was there to meet us, and it was immediately apparent to me what a disadvantage I was at. I'd never been in Chantaburi before, was traveling with one large heavy pack, and had 2 local men to deal with now. Not just my driver. My driver informed me that this second man would take me on to Pattaya. Alarm bells were ringing in my head, and I knew my wisest course of action was to get away from both of these men quickly. So I grabbed my pack and walked off into the darkness. Eventually, I found a motorbike taxi headed for the bus station and was able to get a bus to Bangkok that night. I believe that the BART bus driver knew I was headed to Pattaya, tipped off by the young boy, or perhaps by an immigration official. If it were the immigration official, they would have my passport number, visa number, etc. Any interaction with Thai police wasn't worth the 1,000 baht that I'd been scammed out of, even if I could have overpowered this guy on the highway and had it out with him. In retrospect, I think that I did the smart thing by walking away from the situation. My amour propre was badly damaged, but I'd gotten off lightly. The other scam was a bit more brazen and commonplace. Walking down Second Road in Pattaya on a quiet low-season night, I hit a darker stretch of sidewalk and saw a young woman sitting on a motorbike. Shortly thereafter, a ladyboy approaches me from out of the shadows and, while suggestively touching my arse and crotch, inquires if I'm interested in a short-time encounter. I laugh him or her off, but less than 10 seconds later, I realize I'd better check the contents of my pockets. Sure enough, My front right pocket is now empty. My adrenaline kicks in, but it isn't sufficient to catch up to the ladyboy and her accomplice on the motorbike heading the wrong way on a one-way street. I would have eagerly pushed over their motorbike had I been able to catch them, and both of them were much smaller than me. As it was, I again got off fairly lightly. No keys or ATM cards or bank cards were lifted. About 2,400 baht was gone, and again, my indignation was quite strong. But I'd no longer let strange people, be it men, women, or ladyboys, touch me on the street. I'd gotten a couple of reasonably inexpensive lessons of life on the streets of Thailand. Once at the immigration office in Bangkok, I got to listen to another foreign man explain that as his taxi pulled up to the Bangkok airport for his flight back home, and he got out to pay, the driver took off without payment. All of his luggage, including his passport, was in the trunk or boot of the taxi. Lesson number 1, keep your passport on your body at all times. And lesson number 2, keep bags with you at all times that you don't want to disappear. Drag it inside with you into the taxi. This guy missed his flight, lost all his luggage, and had to go through the hassle of getting another passport, reporting his lost passport, and spending a few more days in Thailand than he wanted or expected. Although I don't know firsthand and don't want to know that way, I suspect that a gifted pickpocket could take things from me easily. Perhaps even from inside the waistband of my pants. I've been scammed twice and want to stop future occurrences. So there you have it, Rick's first-hand account of his encounters with scams in Thailand. From the clever bus driver scheme to the unfortunate pickpocketing incident, Stuart shares his valuable lessons learned. He encourages all viewers to share their own scam stories, to create a collective knowledge base, and help others avoid falling victim. Have you ever been scammed while traveling? What are your tips for staying safe and avoiding scams? Share your experiences and advice in the comments below. And, as always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more travel stories and tips. Thanks for watching.